You ever had someone pull away the moment things get good? 1 minute they're texting you all night, and the next, they're ghosting you like it's their full-time job. Listen, it's not yo. You're not crazy. And here's the kicker, they might actually be obsessed. With youth it's right. I said it, they don't have a yo. They're not over you. They're avoiding you because they're completely secretly head over heels into you, and they're terrified. Yeah, welcome to the wonderfully confusing world of avoidant mid you. Ever notice how someone incomplete drops out of your life, yet somehow always seems to be watching you from the shadows of the internet? It's like digital deja vu. You haven't spoken in weeks, maybe months, but every time you post something, a selfie, a meme, a new job update, their asterisk, right their asterisk, watching first to view your Instagram story, liking posts from 6 months ago, and yet your messages are still left on read. Sound familiar? That's not just casual curiosity, that's emotional surveillance. When someone is avoidantly attached and secretly obsessed, they won't reach out directly best. That would mean admitting feelings, vulnerability, connection, all stuff that scares the hell out of them. But what they asterisk will asterisk do is track you in subtle, quiet ways, the easiest, lowest risk way to doff it in today's world, your digital presence. Let's be real, viewing someone's story doesn't asterisk just happen asterisk. It takes a deliberate action, opening the app, searching, or scrolling until they find you and tapping in. You didn't end up in their story views by accident. They're asterisk choosing asterisk to watch every single time. If you respond to that, if you call it out, they'll deflect. Oh, it just popped upon my feed. Please, we all know how algorithms work. The truth is, an avoidant who's secretly obsessed with you is in a constant tug of war. They crave a connection with you, but they are terrified of it. At the same time, watching from afar gives them a hit of fuel, your energy, your updates, your life, without having to risk anything emotionally. It's a one-way mirror. They can see you, but they don't have to shout themselves, and it feels safer that way. But make no mistake, it's still obsession, quiet, controlled, hidden, but very, very ill. You might even notice patterns. They view your story within seconds of you posting. They accidentally like a photo from 47 weeks ago. They show up digitally just when you're starting to move on or get attention from someone else. That's not coincidence. That's timing, laced with anxiety and suppressed attachment. So if you're confused because they won't talk to you, but somehow always keep popping up online, understand this silence doesn't mean they don't care. It often means they care so much they don't know what to asterisk do. Asterisk with it watching you is how they stay close without getting hurt. But here's the twist. That's asterisk their asterisk issue to resolve. You deserve someone who doesn't just watch your life, they show up in it. You're walking into your favorite coffee shop, the one you mentioned to them in passing weeks ago. Suddenly there they are, sitting in the corner, pretending it's totally random. Or you bump into them at an event they don't usually attend, and they act just as surprised as you are. But deep down, you know, this isn't just a coincidence. This is something else entirely. When someone with avoidant tendencies is secretly obsessed with Yuthi, find ways to stay in your orbit without directly engaging. They miss Yuthi, think about you constantly. Detachedly initiating contact would mean confronting feelings they've spent their whole life avoiding, so instead they are chest straight. These accidental run-ins, it lets them feel close to you without having to be vulnerable. It's emotional sleight of hand, making it look casual, and it's anything but you might be telling yourself it's just a small town, or we have mutual friends, of course we'll see each other. But if it happens more than once, and especially if it happens after a period of distance or silence, you're not imagining things. That avoidant is orbiting you with intention. They are trying to feel connected to Yao without having to talk about the connection. It's safe, it's familiar, it's obsession wearing a mask. This type of behavior is one of the clearest signs that you've got someone who is emotionally invested, but not emotionally available. They don't know how to reach for you in a healthy way, so they create proximity. Without intimacy, they won't call, won't text, won't say, "I miss you." But they'll find a way to be where you're. It gives them a false sense of control. They get to feed their attachment without risking rejection or exposure. And let's be honest, they often look relieved to see you, maybe even a little nervous. They might act awkward, overly casual, or crack a joke to brush it off, but their energy gives them away. Who can feel it? There's something unspoken, hanging in the air. It's not that they don't want to be close. They just don't know how to bridge the gap between what they feel and what they can admit. So if someone keeps randomly showing up in your world after creating distance, it's not your imagination. It's not the universe playing games. It's Samion who wants to be close, but is too afraid to say it, and is flattering. As that might seem, remember, real connection doesn't hide behind coincidence. It shows up with intention and honesty. You've just had the kind of moment that makes your heart feel full. Maybe you shared a deep conversation. Maybe there was a real spark eye contact that lingered, a joke that felt intimate, or a quiet moment where it felt like you truly asterisk each other. And right when you're thinking, this is it, we're finally getting somewhere, they vanish. They start acting distant, cold, unbothered. They don't return your texts same way, or they suddenly need space. It's jarring. It feels like emotional whiplash. This is classic avoidant behavior. The second things get emotionally close, they hit the brakes, not because they didn't enjoy the moment, but because they did asterisk a lot, and that scares them deep down. Avoidants crave connection, just like anyone else, but connection triggers fear of losing themselves, fear of being hurt, fear of needing someone, and so intimacy starts to feel real. They panic. This push-pull dynamic is confusing. If you're on the receiving end, you're constantly second-guessing. Did I say too much? Did I do something wrong? Was I imagining the connection? But the truth is, it's not about what asterisk you did. It's about what the asterisk feel and don't know how to manage the moment their emotions begin to arise. Their defense system kicks in. It allows them to retreat, to get control back, to create distance before they get swallowed up by vulnerability. They may not even be conscious of what they are doing to them. It might just feel like a need to breathe or take space, but that space is often a shield, a way to avoid sitting in discomfort of real emotional intimacy. What's tragic is that, more often than not, they want to asterisk that closeness. They just haven't built the emotional tools to stay in it without panicking. This kind of withdrawal is deeply frustrating as it sends mixed signals. One day they're present, connected, even affectionate. The next, they're cold and withdrawn. It makes you question everything. But understand this, the inconsistency isn't about a lack of feelings. It's about the overwhelm, of those feelings. They feel so much they shut down. If Somione is constantly pulling away right after getting close, it's not because the closeness wasn't real. It's because it was. And it scared them. It activated old fears and attachment wounds. But remember, it's not your job to chase, fix, or convince. It's your job to recognize the pattern, protect your peace, and know fatal intimacy doesn't disappear when things get deep. It leans in. There's something oddly revealing about the way avoidants remember things. You might think they've checked out, that they're not really paying attention to you, especially when they're being distant, but then seemingly out of nowhere, They recall the most specific random detail you mentioned months ago, the name of your childhood. Dog, your favorite late-night snack. That offhand story you told us about your worst date ever. And just like that, you realize they were listening more closely than you thought. This is one of the strongest contracts in someone with avoidant attachment. On the surface, they might seem emotionally unavailable, like they are always pulling away or keeping things surface level, but behind that cool, aloof exterior is a mind that's constantly stress. Especially when it comes to you, they may not show their feelings outright, but they're absorbing everything, storing it, analyzing it, and those tiny pieces of information, that's their quiet proof that you matter to them more than they are willing to admit. Don't bring up those details randomly either often. It happens when they are feeling emotionally vulnerable, Abe. You're reconnecting after a breaker. They're trying to subtly reach out without making it obvious. So instead of saying, "I've been thinking about you," they mention that obscure band you said you liked or joke about something only Yautwo would understand. It's their way of reconnecting without having to say few words directly. What's wild is that while they struggle with emotional expression, their memory betrays them because, let's be real, people don't remember that much about someone unless they've been thinking about them a lot. That kind of detailed recall doesn't happen unless they are emotionally invested. And for an avoidant, that investment is something they'd usually rather hide. So when they let the tail slip, that's not just a coincidence, it's a crack in the wall thief, built between themselves and their emotions. If you're paying attention, this can actually be one of the clearest signs that they're secretly obstinate. Shows they've been paying attention even when they seem distant. It proves that you've taken up real space in their mind. They may try to play it cool, but remembering your obscure preferences or revisiting inside jokes is not accidental. That's emotional evidence. So if someone who tends to be distant suddenly recalls something oddly specific about you, don't brush it off. That's a breadcrumb, a signpost, a quiet way of saying you matter more than you want to admit. You're moving on. You're resembling more, posting pictures with friends, maybe even going on a date. And suddenly, the person who's been distant, available, or completely silent starts popping up again. Maybe they send a vague text like, "Hope you're doing well." Maybe they drop a passive comment on your post, something that sounds casual but feels loaded. Or maybe they reappear entirely, reacting like they never pull it away to begin with. This is jealousy in disguise, and for someone avoidant, it often hits hard and shows up in confusing ways. Avoidants may not say they're jealous, and they definitely won't admit it, but that doesn't mean they don't feel it. In fact, they often feel it intensely. The difference is they don't express it like Simeon. With secure attachment, would they suppress it, mask it, or act out in indirect ways instead of saying, "Seeing you with someone else bothered me"? They might get sarcastic, cold, or suddenly start flirting again. Just enough to keep your attention, but not enough to take full accountability for their feelings. This is the internal tug of war they constantly live in. They crave a connection with you, but the second they see someone else getting that part of you, they panic, not because their regaito show up in a consistent, emotionally way, but because they don't want to lose access to you. That's the obsession. Talking, it's not about readiness. It's about control, the idea of you being emotionally available. Tossing else triggers their deepest fears of abandonment, even if they've spent months pushing you away. So what do? They reinsert themselves just enough to create confusion. They want to disrupt the new attention you're getting without fully claiming their place beside you. They want to remind you they exist, that they're watching that you still matter to them, but without ever saying it out loud. It's emotional chessing. You're the queen piece they don't want to lose. This is what makes it so hard to break free from an avoidant who's secretly obsessed with you. Their jealousy is real, but hidden behind pride. Their feelings are intense, but buried under avoidance. It's not that they don't care. It's that caring feels too risky, Tasha. So instead, they act indifferent while subtly trying to reel you back in. But here's the truth: real love doesn't play tug of war with your emotions. If they're watching you with someone else and it stings, they need to step up, not just hover in the background. Jealousy without action is just manipulation in disguise.